Jodie Bodenhammer, Reppel Diabetes Learning Center Coordinator and RN for Baxter Regional Medical Center. And I've got Jan Hallagan here with me today. We're out at the Baxter County Fairgrounds for the Baxter County Senior Expo and Health Fair. And we're gathering up an audience out here for folks, so come on in. We're going to be making up some creamy spinach dip today. And this is taken from the diabeticgourmet.com online recipes. And Jan has worked her magic on it. And we're going to be mixing that up today. You're going to be talking a little bit about some low-fat options for us. And then we've got some samples for everyone. So everybody is patiently waiting. Jan, we want to hear what you have to talk about.
All righty. When we go to parties, when we have get-togethers, we always want to have some little munchies. All right, this spinach dip is a good one because instead of using high-fat sour cream, this is low-fat or light. If you can find the fat-free, that'll even work. But that's going to save you a lot of fat calories and saturated fat. And if you're working towards keeping your arteries clear, if you're working towards keeping your weight down, perfect. We're also going to be using water chestnuts in it to give it a little crunch. Now at Christmas time when I've made this recipe, I use chopped pimento in there. So you've got the green of the spinach with little pieces of chopped pimento with the red, and the two of them speak of Christmas. So make it to fit your needs. I will tell you that the recipe you're going to get here with this recipe, I like something a little less tart than what it is, so I added a couple of tablespoons of the light mayonnaise.
And I'll grab that for us. Whoops, yes. I'll grab that because I don't see that we had that out there.
No, we didn't yet.
And this is what happens when I let Jan loose to modify recipes. She just throws me a curveball, and I love it.
Oh well, stuff happens. And I also used one little packet of Splenda to give it not a sweet taste, but to cut the tart taste.
That sometimes will neutralize some of the vinegar taste, won't it?
Because it's got not only a couple tablespoons of vinegar in it, but it also has just a little bit of lemon juice in it.
Okay.
So we're going to fix this up. I will start utilizing a cup and a half of the light sour cream.
And while you're doing that, I've got this frozen spinach here, and it's still got a little bit of frozen to it, so I'm just working it with my hands to kind of thaw it a little bit more, make sure it's nice and ready for you when you get ready to stir it into that dip. I'm going to go behind and grab the mayonnaise for you as well. Okay, Miss Jan?
And Jody is not only going to mix the spinach together, we're supposed to drain it. I have found the easiest way to drain spinach, this was frozen, is to take and put little plobs of it in a little strainer and then squeeze it with your hands. Don't make this a big project.
Whew, that was a quick trip. I went all the way to the store for that and back.
Right. Okay, and you can watch, while I'm doing this, you can watch Jody strain the spinach.
Oh, I love to strain the spinach.
I knew you would.
We want to get the moisture out of there. This is just some good old frozen spinach, because if we don't get some of the actual packed moisture in the spinach out, the dip will kind of be a little bit runny. So this keeps it from getting too runny, and then also allows us to use the good frozen spinach as well.
All right, in my bowl, I'm putting a cup and a half of the light sour cream.
And you know, we talk a lot about diabetes, and we talk a lot about different types of recipes for diabetes. This is also going to serve you well if you've got problems with cholesterol.
Definitely. All righty. I need to finally mince the garlic, and the way I do that is I take a bud of garlic and smash it with something, and I use whatever I've got. Yeah. Because when you smash it, the skin peels right off.
Ooh, this is cold spinach.
Yes.
Miss Jan,
Yes, ma'am.
when I get this spinach all squeezed out, can I go ahead and put it in your bowl?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Because nothing is being cooked or baked here.
Okay.
It's all just being mixed together. See, she's got nice little balls of spinach. And when I stir that with my spoon, it's all going to mix in just fine. So I'm going to take my knife and finely mince the spinach. And the reason you mince it is because you don't want someone to get a wad of fresh garlic when they taste the dip, because that's going to be very strong. It'll
Right.
blend nicely into the whole product if it's in small pieces.
Small little pieces. Gotcha. And what's the benefit, Jan? Why are you using the real garlic as opposed to garlic powder, garlic salt?
Because it's got more flavor
Okay,
and it's also cheaper.
gotcha.
And I'm always concerned about saving money. All right, so I chop this up, and it doesn't take any big deal to chop it up. Mince it.
Got the garlic going in. Smell. Oh, that's smelling good over here.
Oh yeah.
I
Then
love the smell of fresh garlic.
I've got
Yum.
water chestnuts, and I'm using approximately half of one of those little cans,
Okay.
which equals about a half cup.
Okay. I'm still straining the spinach over here.
Yep.
Look how much juice I've gotten out of that. It's pretty juicy.
And that's why you have to wring it out.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. So you're putting the water chestnuts in,
I've got a
and you
few
want
more
the
to
rest
go
of
in.
this spinach?
Oh yeah,
All of
the
it
whole
in there.
package of
Okay,
it.
the whole package. Well, there we go. Now my fingers are frozen
And green.
and green. I'm making a sacrifice for you all.
She's not sacrificing that much. We're using gloves.
Yeah, I've got my gloves on, so
And no, I don't use gloves at home, but when we're going to offer the food to people, of course I do. Just common courtesy.
no onions, no ma'am.
A little bit of garlic and our water chestnuts chopped.
You could certainly use some onion in that, some green onion or some purple onion, give it another little flavor. That's the really good thing about trying and doing other recipes is, you know, throw in what you like. Leave out what you don't like. Oh, she's going for the little spoon now.
All right, this is cayenne pepper. It's got a little bit of tang to it. I use minimal of it because I don't like hot. It's supposed to be a quarter of a teaspoon. I use a little bit less.
Did you get your mayo in there?
Oh, I will.
Okay. Get that open and ready for you.
My red wine vinegar, I've got,
Love red wine vinegar.
it's got such a nice smell, but too much of it and it's going to taste too bitter,
Sure.
which I don't want. So we use 2 tablespoons of this.
Right?
And then, not listed on your recipe, 2 tablespoons of light mayonnaise.
Uh-huh.
That's to cut some of the bitterness. No,
We
That's-
added it in because after we did the recipe, we decided it needed a little
Something.
neutralizing, yes. So if you don't like that tang of the vinegar, a little bit of mayo will always tune down a little bit.
and also 1 little packet of Splenda to cut the bitterness.
Great.
And then I go ahead and mix it up. I could add just a little shake of black pepper to it. Again, just to give it some flavor. You'll notice I'm not adding in any salt. I don't use it. If you use your herbs and spices, you don't have to.
Okay.
Then we mix it.
Did you put dill in there as well?
No, the dill is going to go in our
Oh, that's
tuna
for later.
Yes.
You just got that out just to play.
This is going to please everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm doing,
We didn't
sort
mean
of.
to.
No. All right. Now here's what we've got. Now I recommend that at home you cover this over and put it in the fridge for a couple of hours to let the flavors meld. Because otherwise it doesn't go through the entire batch.
Yeah.
But this is what it's going to look like. And because Jodie squeezed the spinach, we don't have a runny mess.
Right.
And we don't want a runny mess. So this is this. I will set it aside and show you what the stuff that I made last evening looks like.
Yes. I'm going to keep stirring this while you're doing that.
All righty.
And then you're going to use this spoon. It sets up really nice in the refrigerator. It says to refrigerate about 2 hours, and that gives it a good consistency as well. And of course, we've had this in the refrigerator. You got your spoon over there. You want to trade?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Trade me.
Take
No, you get that.
Take a little sniff of this now.
Take a sniff. Smells good.
And this was in last night.
It's going to get nice and thick.
So the consistency stays good. And then we will serve this up with some crackers. You could use chips. You can use whatever you want with this.
Sure.
Little toast rounds. Those little
Right.
round, flat ones.
Sure. And the beauty of this is when we do a low fat or a lighter dip, then we can afford a few chips, a few crackers, something like that, because we don't have all the calories loaded up in the dips. And infamously, we've got lots and lots of not only fat, but calories, sometimes saturated fats, with our different types of dips as well. And then we've got the spinach in there, and that adds a nice health benefit as well. I personally don't care for cooked spinach on just a regular dish, but in this I really enjoy it. So
Right.
Yeah.
And if you are
Yeah,
someone
sure.
who follows a diabetic diet, this counts 1 carb and 1 fat for 2 tablespoons. And that's not bad at all.
yes, yes.
Yes. And it's low in cholesterol. So heart healthy for you.
That's the other thing, and I want to make mention also of, we do a lot of diabetes cooking and we do a lot of diabetes classes, but the secondary issue that we see a lot of times with diabetes patients is heart disease and cardiac problems, heart attack and stroke. And so we're really always striving to help them lower their cholesterol and really have a good heart healthy option as well. So this is a really nice addition to our cookbooks and our recipes. A little snack, a little something different. And what do you say? I start serving up and you can finish off anything you'd like to add, Miss Jan.
Okay. Everyone, whether they have diabetes or not, needs to watch the amount of fats and the type of fats they eat, because we don't need, as we mature, we don't need clogged arteries. Those tend to be major problems for us more mature adults. And so I use the light mayonnaise. I don't use fat-free because fat-free to me tastes a little bit bland. I use the light or fat-free sour cream for the same reason. It's still got good flavor. We're adding in the fresh
Doing
garlic
okay right now,
because
thank you.
stuff needs flavor. We have to have food that has a good taste. I don't want flat food or bland food. Adding in just a little bit of your cayenne, a little bit of black pepper, and you're going to get the taste you want. Okay? And again, with this spinach recipe, I added in 2 tablespoons of the light mayonnaise and about a teaspoon of the Splenda to cut the tang of the red wine vinegar and the sour cream. Do you have any questions for us?
You said you used the Splenda in?
Yes. I added approximately half a teaspoon worth, just enough to help cut some of the tangy taste.
Trivia or stevia?
Stevia would work equally well.
And it's not artificial, it's real. I mean, it's a plant.
It's a plant base. They took a plant and they went ahead, grew it, dried it out, powdered it, took an extract out of that. So that's all it is powdered plant. But it tastes 200 times sweeter than regular sugar. That's why we only use a little bit to take the bitter tang out of things. But do remember, when you use the spinach, to squeeze it to drain it, because you end up with one 10-ounce package of spinach, you end up with this much excess water in it, and if that goes in your spinach dip, it's going to be much too watery. Alrighty, I think we're about ready. Jodie, you about ready to try some there? If I did not have
Yep, I'll bring them around in just a
fresh
second.
garlic, I would
Go
use
ahead.
some garlic powder. But you always have to make sure when you're using any kind of herb or spice that you check how old they are, because if the date is like 3, 4, 5 years old, it's not going to have the taste, the zing of the fresher product. Yes, yes, we needed that. What? We're trying the spinach dip with some chips. And you've got the recipe. Okay. Yes, it is.
There we go.
Enjoy.
Expecting a banana or some juice.
There
at
we
the end
go.
of the trail, but
I
not
understand. I understand. But it's spinach dip with a few chips. And it takes about 6 or 7 minutes to make up.
So spinach dip in Lipton soup mix?
No,
ma'am.
no.
Too salty. We need to watch our blood pressure, because high blood pressure can lead us to having things like heart attacks and strokes.
Right.
So to make that, I use some light sour cream, or fat-free if I had it. I used a couple tablespoons of light mayonnaise, and then fresh garlic, minced up, some water chestnuts, about half a can, cut fine, and I used a little bit black pepper, and
And
just
a little bit of the cayenne pepper also, red pepper. Yeah.
very little.
It's got a lot of flavor. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes.
it does. Thank you.
But it's so easy to make.
Yes.
You just leave it refrigerated for about an hour.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you for stopping by.
Can I have another one just to finish my...
Sure.
We don't want you to pass out.
Oh, God. I'll tell you, if that line didn't get in front, I was like, oh, my God.
So folks are just coming on over and trying our spinach dip. They're enjoying getting to come into the health fair and get their blood work done, and just see all the different exhibitors here. And we are so glad to be able to be here and do our cooking here live from the health fair. We'll be back in a little while. We're going to be doing another recipe soon, and we'll see you then. Have a good day.
Thanks for stopping by.